We are 2 seconds in. So far, it's just me and George hanging out, yapping. We're letting it go live. If we mess up bad, we'll just take the video down and we'll have it. I'll get him the local recorded and we can share it with our great somethings. Go back to live. Here we go. It's part of, it says one watching. Part of doing this stuff on the internet webs. And we can, boss, shut up. You got to load your chat, load your stuff in the browser. At least this is how I figured it out so far. I have to stretch this thing out just a little so I can see one watching now. It's on a screen.
Yep, that's me.
Or me, or both of us. We are a union. You have to do your little 3 dots on your web browser. And roll down here to pop out the chat. Plop. Then you have to go up here to top chat and change that to live. And stick your chat over in the other window. On the other screen, I mean. And then take your whole Microsoft Edge. You can have the whole computer, but you only need the Edge. And put that on the other screen so you can see the number watching now underneath OBS. And then put your chat back in front of OBS. So you have tiled, is what they used to call it in the good old days, or stacked windows. And then this is the log file. This is where everything that happens on these live streamers gets logged, and some other things. Saved. And then I think we can close the log for now. Bye, log. Missing from previous live stream. I don't think we'll rehash it. Maybe we can. Was a little bit of boss stuff. But there's no good boss. Because of weather and road conditions and client changing their minds. I never did finish telling my story, George. I got distracted earlier. The computer store I worked at, they decided all of a sudden they were going to take the whole Thanksgiving week off instead of just Thanksgiving Day, including the following weekend. So where I had 80 to 90 hours planned and 40 to 50 of that being overtime because I really needed the money and they really needed their repair and built computer backup cleared. They just decided we're closed and you can't work. You take a vacation too. About 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on that first Monday before Thanksgiving. So when they finally got back and gave me my holiday paycheck, it was for like 2 hours, and they laughed and laughed. It was a husband and wife that owned the place. It was the smallest paycheck they'd ever written, and they just thought that was hilarious. Bad bosses, no matter where you go. I've got MSN up on the screen. I'm clicking through the headlines. She got some crazy blue eyes. It looks like Wednesday. Don't know who it is. Some dude plotted to KIA his wife and got found guilty. Ayahaha. So, yep. Millions on Social Security to get bonus tax deduction. Yay. Mm. Iran's leader, according to USA Today and MSN, threatens regional war if U.S. attacks. Trump responds.
I think they forgot when we sank their entire Navy in less than 8 hours.
Yeah, man, I don't have a clue in this world. Are they crying out for help? I'm being smarmy. Forgive me, Iran and Iran peoples, I guess. Ukraine hails real results after Musk restricts Russian Starlink use. Okay. The GOP chair rejects Clinton's offer an Epstein investigation ahead of contempt of Congress vote. I don't think the Republicans have that much of a majority. That's going to be a party line thing, I predict her. And don't take my predictions. I've been wrong about everything. Sponsored. Get off my screen, sponsored. You are prohibited. I don't care about the Epstein stuff. I'm tired of it. Tax refund update on extra $1,000 for 100 million American families. Is it me? I doubt it. Should we investigate, sir?
Why not?
Okay.
Probably neither one of us qualify.
I opened it in a new tab. Sanctioned Russian jet touches down in Cuba. Okay. Oh, I have a screenshot of this earlier. I do want to read it. Police officer KIA'd another seriously wounded in hotel room shout out in Georgia. I'm against them guys. However, guys and gals, when it comes time to take a choice with no information, cops or the robbers, I'll take the coppers. I can go bribe their chief to give him a Barney bullet and tell him to behave himself. The bottle of tuna or something. Minneapolis is showing a new kind of anti-Trump resistance. Somebody do a poll to these hordes marching down streets, blocking streets, that I guarantee you they don't have a parade or a protest is too much permit for. And some of you, please. I say it with love. Slip on that icy road and don't break anything, but bruise something real good like your bum. So you have to lay on your belly for weeks and think about it. Mm. You guys wandering around in the cold, unless it just makes you feel better. Somewhere you're messing something up. And I come from the land of protesters too much. California. DHS makes major immigration enforcement change after Democratic pressure. Yay. Well, so much the headaches. Headaches. That's true. True. This is many of the headaches as I'm headlines as I'm going to scroll. Let's look at tax refund update on extra 1,000 for 100 million American families. Story by Susan Blake, 4H. That means 4 hours. Says it's a 3-minute read. There's little green lights all over the markets today. About 0.5% up. Dow Jones Industrial Average went 1.05% up. The lady in Newsweek's whatever was okay to look at. Treasury Department released an update on tax refunds. Sorry, had to scroll the thing so you guys can read along. Or so I can read it at all. As Americans' IRS deadline approaches. Our deadline's a minute away, okay? 2.5 months. 3.5 months. What am I saying? It's February. March, April. Yeah, 2.5. On Monday morning, the Treasury Department posted to X. With the opening of tax filing season last week, President Trump's working families' tax cuts are set to deliver the biggest refunds in American history. Yay! The tax department said Americans filed now to take advantage of the new no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on auto loans for American-made cars. The boosted child tax credit double standard deduction and $1,000 for children's Trump accounts. Well, you were right,
That's
George.
kind of
We don't qualify.
about to say that's kind of funny because there are no more American produced cars. They're all produced, some in America. I mean, some of the parts are in American, some are in Japan, some are in Europe. They're produced all over the bloody place. There are no more American produced cars. Ford is not 100% American. Chevy's not 100% American. GM is not 100% American.
Are there any? 100. It took the percent off. I want the percent. Dagnabbit. Google bar. Are there any? And the Google bar says, let's play reCAPTCHA. It's a game. Do I win? Next. Oop. Click the stairs. I lost this one last time too. Next. Buses. How dare you? Tic-tac-toe. Is it checkers? Bicycles? And it just has next and next and next. I'll keep bitching about it until it goes away. Google. T-Mobile. This is not a fun game. You guys suck.
How many times you got to do this?
Million. This one says click the stairs. There's no stairs. Looks like a crosswalk. Skip. Traffic lights. Let me zoom this thing. Oh, I finally got a verify button. Please try again. Traffic light. Traffic light. Traffic light. I believe that is all. I zoomed the screen in. Verfy. Got it. I win. And George is corrector. If Google says so in its AI overview, they stole it from George. Google, give George his royalties. No cars currently for sale are 100% made in the U.S. using only domestic parts. There you go. Nobody get up there and start squawking about how somebody, especially me or George, said something that couldn't be verfied through the Google bar. Okay, well, to any of the rest of you that ever hear this before your tax deadline or before you file your return, if you qualify for any of this doo-doo, and I'm sure we could go dig deep and find out that American Made as interpreted by the administration. They don't care what the president says. They care what they think he meant. And that's what passes through. I'm sure it says so many percents of parts and final assembly happened here. Whatever. So anyway, I don't quit $1,000. I want $1,000. And figuring out your no tax on your tips or your no tax on your overtime, there's nothing new about no tax on Social Security, unless they mean at all, up to certain amounts.
Biden put an end to that when he was in Congress. He's the one that allowed Social Security to be taxed.
Yeah, but I think since last time Trump was in there, for a long, long time, lots of people I know on Social Security filled out informational returns and it was exempted anyway. But they don't make the max, the top you can make off of Social Security. You have to be a Biden for that. So that's not new unless they cleared it all the way, and I wish they wouldn't.
Now, the funny part is that Trump's a billionaire. He's the president. He gets a paycheck, and he qualifies for Social Security.
He is 79 or 80 years old. He's an
He's
old
over
man.
65.
And just like Biden, who bragged about how much he got.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
The only way Donald Trump qualifies for that Social Security is he paid into it for his whole life.
Yep.
So, it's not an entitlement and it's not a freebie.
It's a tax where you get a slight tax refund, and I do mean slight.
Yeah. You do get back more than you ever paid into Social Security. That's beside the point. Yes.
If you're
Yep.
lucky.
And who knows?
Because even if you are over the age where you can make the maximum or unlimited as far as and not be taken out of your Social Security, when you get a paycheck, you still pay into Social Security.
Game stream is over. Sorry, I'm typing in the chat. Let me pull the chat up on the screen. Bill Hughes said, "Hey, Dean," or he. Game stream is over. We are trolling. Hee. Scrolling. We are trolling headlines and yapping. If you get landed and want to get on the Discord, sir, we're trying to be careful and driving the lines on these icy roads that is playing in YouTube's storage facility. So anyway, all I can think of is that by the time you brought all your check stubs and everything else and paid a tax preparer, of which I am a thing, I renewed my calendar year 2026 P10 back in December, I think. By the time you paid someone to sit down and punch the calculator up and down, left and right and all around and figure out if everything was correct about what your employers withheld or didn't withheld and everything else on the overtime and the taxes during a partial year when all that stuff was supposed to be in effect, it's going to cost you much more than you could have possibly saved and gotten back on your tax return. And then Wow, chat's busy now. And see my goofy thing still says one watching, but there's people typing in the chat. Bill said,
Mine
I
says
see.
5 watching.
Not tonight. Gonna watch the Monday Night Raw in a minute. All right. If it wouldn't cause us a copyright strike or whatever, I would say, well, just turn it up and then get on the Discord and we'll all listen like it's a radio to Raw together and pretend we know what we're talking about. And then just for horses, Elizabeth said, yes, Trump is OLD and over years has paid into Social Security, but would wonder if he even filed to get it. He also only takes $1 from his pay and the rest goes to pay down the debt, etc. I'll text you later. Roger that, Bill Hughes. They already scolded and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he does this time. I, I Google searched for it once, but he did 4 years of donating back, and that was such a pain in the ass. He had to find all the right people to pay and issue whatever so that he could give back his presidential paycheck plus the affiliated. If you're an anti-Trumper, go away, because not everything about him is wrong and bad. Even stop clocks twice a day, they're correct.
I
He,
wonder when he gave back all his money back to the federal government or to charity, did they still tax him on his presidential income?
well, I found out years ago that all federal employees, they do this weird Enron bookkeeping. They don't, at least up at the high, especially the Congress level, and probably the president too. They mark their stubs as if it was paid, but they don't actually deduct it from their checks. They get all their money, but they get credit as if they had earned a wage and paid into it. It's a psychotic.
That's the reason they keep voting themselves raise and cutting what the seniors get and things of that nature.
I guess Bill Hughes signed off because now it says 3 watching. Next time we'll go on and we'll talk about wrestling. Yep. So I don't know who this would actually benefit. He yapped about it a while back when he said no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. And that's only if, especially in a state like North Carolina, where your boss can, we're an at-will state in North Carolina. I'm sure it's very different in California, where Elizabeth is. If your boss don't want to figure out all that stuff and do all this stuff about it, you're on your own. Go pay your own accountant and tax preparer to figure out if you need a bigger refund than your boss. Because if they wanted to pay their payroll services just to do the payroll, not sit there and calculate out, well, let's not withhold on that and let's not withhold on this. And how do you, and it doesn't have anything to do with Social Security. Social Security is not a tax, even though we call it that. It's like an insurance premium, sort of, or an investment deduction.
That's one reason some people would like to opt out of Social Security and set up their own retirement funds.
Yeah, but that defeats the purpose of the socialism.
I know.
Mm,
But then again, if you have the money, do both.
I guess so, yes. If you're that worried about it, or whatever. But exactly what Elizabeth said, and it didn't help. And it's not that he's any different or any special. We haven't had nothing nearing a balanced budget since Bill Clinton.
Problem is, we don't need a balanced budget. We need a budget that we can pay and then also pay on what we owe.
Right. We need an overbalanced budget in a big, big way. And so who knows? Elizabeth
And the only
said,
way to do that is to cut state subsidies.
yeah, do both is a great idea. Yes. We can't trust our government, and we can't trust, man, but be careful. A friend of mine had all his in retirement for his whole business and all his employees. This was back about 2000 or 2001. And they stole it. Big brand name company, which they, of course, blamed a bad employee and tried to get wiggle out of it. But in the meantime, him and his family had to come up with a little over $2 million to put back in people's retirement accounts that someone else stole. And then lawyers and insurance companies and madness. Yes, life is very punishing. It's just the luck of that one friend of mine that his family had the kind of money to, well, pull it out of the investment account and dump it in the employee's retirement account or whatever they had it in. They had done
Well,
well
it's
with their
just like
lives.
my grandmother got some AMP retirement, but when
Hmm?
when AMP went under, uh, they used the retirement fund to pay off some of their debt. So it left all the people that had already been invested in retirement or retired, left them high and dry.
Yeah, and that's one of those, even though it's, just yapping, do you believe in destiny? My Priscilla's mama was in the union at AMP, and lots of people, especially down here, were like, we might have to red rum you union people. We don't do unions. Well, all them people got high and dried. It ain't much, but when AMP shut down, she started receiving her little rinky dink check, and I'm not going to say how much, but it is not much. But she still gets them from the union from when she worked at AMP 45 years later. I'm getting there, Elizabeth. I'm getting there. Elizabeth said, what we need is to find a group of seniors and single parents who live on limited income and their pension plans were ripped off when the 93 through '08 shutdown to move to slave labor, child labor nations. Let those low income balance the budget and give them a $1,000 bonus to do it. Send the Congress home without pay. Yeah, I promise you, as long as they covered the expenses of travel and lodging up in that hellhole and some serious security, I'll do the job of anybody up in Congress for 10%. Not the employees, the electards.
Holy shit,
Well,
you do it for that little?
yeah,
What 10% is what? 17,000?
14,500 or allegedly, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what do they work? 25 days a year? Like, how often are they actually in that place? Besides, and the four of them I hate, the ones that keep running these They're all Republicans. The Kentucky guy, Comey, Johnson. There's another guy. I can't think of his name. Besides doing these dumbass Congress investigations that don't amount to anything, they're meaningless. They're pointless. They're rhetoric. If there's something that needs investigating, Congress, get together, vote, and ask the Department of Justice to investigate it. Because that's who does our investigations. Send it over to the FBI. Congress don't investigate. We can segue right into whatever. But yes, and but when I go, I'm gonna filibuster the hell out of that place until everybody agrees we're cutting Congress pay to 10%. It's gonna be North Carolina minimum wage at part-time hours, and that's the salary. If you hit your hours, 30 hours every week, you're out of Congress. You cannot work until next pay period begins. And that's what you get, whatever that amounts to be.
Yep.
1,500 hours at 725. That's all you get. Because politics has got to stop being about getting rich. It's got to be about service, servitude. And if you cut the money, ain't nobody going to be up there. It's going to be a big empty building.
No, they'll still be up there because they'll find loopholes in how to make their money.
Not if we can
Because
go in a
one,
close.
Congress members live far beyond their salary,
Oh, yeah.
and they make so much more than their salary. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to get rich while up there.
Elizabeth said many of our CA Congress did not bother to go in at all most of the time. Only when told to show up by the great they. Yep. And
Hell, they don't even spend time in their home offices like they're supposed to.
nope. And this is not political. We're ragging on all of them equally.
Yeah. R's, D's, and L's.
And
R's
engines.
and an I.
Because here we are in 2026, and my dingleberry band, which is what a California tribe is called, a band, won't do telephone or electronic Zoom meeting voting or anything, or have recorded meetings. They're public meetings, and establish the quorum for those of us that were kicked off the reservation by the clique, by the in club. And we're all supposed to be a family, but nobody can fight like siblings can fight. That's what Congress needs to be. We don't need that big old building. Look what happened to it on January 6th. Wouldn't be a big deal if it was a museum. Let those people stay home. Stop the recompense for their travel and their lodging and housing and fancified meals and their staffs and everything else that's going on in Washington, except the fact it's 2026. They all live on X anyway. Make X the platform for Congress and archive it. It's like, I watch very popular. Ours ain't there yet, George, but we're getting there, Elizabeth. We'll hit a lick somehow. I'll get me some giggly girl to sit up here. It had to
We
be
need to
my,
just get enough numbers so we can at least have a tip jar.
yeah. Well, once you get to whatever, you can have super chats. 500 viewers and 3,000 watch hours in the last year. I was going to say I had to get me a avatar of a giggly girl in a bikini top. saying giggly girl stuff. Whatever works. Anyway, I've watched lots of, where they have 15,000 watching podcasts or whatever, live streams. If they can do a poll and it's absolutely accurately correct and verified by username and login, because you can't participate in chat polls on YouTube unless you're logged in and accounted for.
Yeah.
If they can do that for 15,000 people, why can't my band of brothers in California do it for all 800 of us? Or that gaggle of goofiness that is called the Congress of the United States. Or dial it in on your telephone. Put in your secret passcode on the telephone. And then have the robot voice that I'll program for you Congress people say, "I didn't understand you. Returning to the main menu." If you are in the Senate, press 1. And then go through the prompts. Enter your little secret key code. And then press 1 for yay and 2 for nay. Press 3 to abstain from the vote and resign from Congress. You may not abstain from the vote. It's what the people sent you there for, is to vote.
Do you know
Holla.
who Billie Eilish is?
Singer?
Oh, okay.
Not really. The word singer hollered in my mind. If I didn't have to play a
Eilish.
Elizabeth said, if you read the Constitution, Congress is supposed to meet once a year for a few days, get stipend. But it got sold out to Parliament a bit at a time. Absolutely. Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure. Cross that off. Business. Business. We call it Robert's Rules of Business here in America. Billy?
No, it's
L.
just I was
Billy
reading
Elliot.
something that says insane Billie Eilish calls America stolen land. And the response to that is, okay, Billie, your $14 million mansion in LA is built where the Tugava tribe once lived. Any plans on returning it?
Oh, she's the one that I said a while ago had sparkly blue eyes but looked like Wednesday Adams. This other
I
picture of her they've
guess.
got up here is not flattering. They caught her with the eyelids kind of shutting, so she looks like she's half asleep or half drunk.
Yeah, the picture you got up, the one I have up, she has black and green hair.
Yeah.
But they need to distinguish between stolen land and conquered land.
Well,
Because tribes stole it from each other and then they got beat. And not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that that's how it is. One tribe would get strong by means and conquer another tribe and take what's theirs, including people.
she's 24 years
That's
old.
one reason I think this DNA test for tribal affiliation is stupid. Because, I mean, if you were one tribe and another tribe came and conquered you and stole you, and you then later became a part of their tribe, but now your blood's not there, it gets too confusing. Not to mention, what about the people? I'm gonna use a movie reference, like A Man Called Horse, who was adopted into the tribe, and now his family's been in that generation. So is he all of a sudden that family excommunicated?
Yes, probably. I don't know. And that's another thing that I tried to offer it, But I didn't then, and I don't now have a voice, until they deleted it. I mean, lightning struck it. It was on my Facebook that to make what's her name Warren whole, and I sent an email to my board of my tribe. Could we don't do adoptions. We voted each other out of the islands, and why, if I choose a wife, can my wife not get on the rolls? Oh, because she wasn't born. Well, we can't all hump our cousins. Tribe, okay?
And there's some tribes that have rules against that.
Yeah,
I
everything
think it's the Navajo.
exclusionary.
The
But
Navajo, you can't marry inside your clan. You have to go and marry outside your clan.
yeah, but if you do, then they kick you off their rolls and say, well, go get on your wife's or your spouse's rolls. But their tribe band has the same ridiculous rules. Elizabeth said the legal lines went with the mom, and all the native nations with those big white law firms took over by throwing everyone out. Yep. It's very exclusionary. And I talked in one of my very long, the second one. Supposed to be PPSB centric, but it's got the one with the thumbnail of all of us being the peasants, the lesser lands, the not nothings in the stadium or the arena cheering on everybody else down into blood and sand. Let me read this name because it caught my eyeball. I've probably heard her music on the radio. Billie, I'm not sure how you say that. Eilish? Is it German? I've heard everybody
I
on
don't
planet
know.
Earth say Eilish. That's how I always hear it. I'm sorry, singer songwriter. I'm doing the best I can. Billie Eilish or Eilish, Pirate is her third name. Baird O'Connell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're already cool because you got 5 names, and one of them right in the middle is Pirate. Awesome. Los Angeles-based pop singer and songwriter known for her distinctive sound and vocal style. Her talent and authenticity have made her a household name and prominent figure in 2020's pop culture. Talk about pop music. And
Must be old. I've never heard of her.
Google has some little hearty heart thing that keeps drifting up on my screen, but then I zoom my screen back out. There, it popped back up. Whatever a red flower with hearts drifting off it at 1.829 million is whatever she has. Good job. Good job. And the next thing would be, I'm not scrolling far enough to see the quote. All right, let's say stolen land. Let's find out. Oh, at the Grammys 2026, which apparently she won one, at least one, called out stolen land Grammy comments. Well, oh, wait, what did she say? No one is illegal on stolen land. It's a lovely notion, ma'am. It's a lovely notion. You are very young.
I want to know if she's gonna give her land back.
I doubt it. I was about to say, well, lead by example then. No. She's a bebe. She's 24. Even though I shouldn't say that. She might be wise beyond her years, and we just don't understand high IQ stuff like that. Something like that, yeah. The Southern California nations threw out the real natives and added the ones the lawyers said were okay. CHP had to go throw out the real natives. Yep. And the sad of it is, CHP did. No one is illegal on stolen land. It's a lovely idea. Please use your name and fame, young woman, young person, young thing, young it, zems. Sorry, pronouns not ascertained.
But see, my point is not stolen, it's conquered. Because every land on the planet has been conquered by one person over another at some time in its history.
Yep.
Repeatedly.
Yep, I agree, sir. And here we go again with define this, define that, and then roll back to Bill Clinton saying, define what is, and then roll back just a few years before that. Some guy with a name, I understand it's pronounced pilot, not pirate, said, what is truth? So, stolen land, well, what if you bought it fair and square? Like whatever that bridge is that's allegedly got bought for $1, the old legend goes, by ripping off the engines. They're not very smart. They missed out on the big wampum, all that jazz.
Which is also a fallacy. They traded the island, which no one was using, for things that they could use, such as iron knives and beads and other things. It wasn't they gave up. Hey, here's a buck. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And
The
maybe, and emphasize maybe, the stuff might have cost $1, but at that time, $1 would be going for inflation, mind you, several $1,000,000 now.
Yep.
And it was first done by the Dutch, not the English. The English bought it from the Dutch because its first name was New Amsterdam. Then it became New York.
So there's that. And we'll just chalk it up to either age or too high of an IQ. You gotta come down out of your high IQ range when you have a voice and you say things into the masses minus the M.
Well, and I'm going to say this correctly, all indigenous people that were indigenous to their locations have been screwed by one person or another.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's the tribes and bands in Canada being screwed by the British government, then the Canadian government, as well as the Catholic Church,
The
or
French. And the French.
and the French, yeah. Whether it's the Scots being screwed out of their land by the English, whether it's the uh,
How about
Belgians being screwed.
how about the Irish? We all
Yeah,
remember the
well,
potato famine.
yeah. And a lot of them got screwed, but a lot of them also voluntarily left.
I was
So
gonna
that
search something
their situation's 50-50.
and then I
I
forgot
mean,
it.
there are more Scottish immigrants to the New World than there were ever Irish. It's
Where's the
just
video?
the Scots came over not in droves, but in a steady stream. And their migration really started in 1745 and during 1746, 1747, because once the Jacobites lost, they either were killed, kicked off their own land, and then later they were kicked off their land because it was cheaper to grow sheep for money than it was to have renters.
All you polices and securities. Whenever we get done with this topic. I got it up on the screen, George. You'll see it in a while.
I got you.
I was just clearing some tabs and I had completely forgotten about it. I was just kind of enjoying the conversation. And Anyway, where I was thinking with the Billie, whatever her second name is, the pirate girl. I love you, pirate
Yeah.
girl. Your name is Pirate. Somebody get me a hold of her with your voice, both your wonderful sing-songy voice. That's what I was going to look up. And I just discussed with my Priscilla earlier today because she said, you know what you need to do when you do your live stream is play that Johnny Cash song. I said, cannot. And she doesn't understand. How come some people can play songs on tube and some can't? Yeah, because that's why.
Well, some of them do it illegally too. But I would look at it this way, and this is my frame of thing. Why? I mean, radio stations do not pay royalties to uh, singers and songwriters. So why should anybody else play that's playing their music over an open airway? Anybody can listen. I mean, it's not like you're making money off their song. You're just playing it, and they're getting free recognition.
Mm, I was just trying to see if I recognize any of these song names. I'm sure I don't because I'm so bad with names. I'm sure, and I'm pretty good at it. You know, name that tune. It wouldn't take many minutes or seconds of one of her songs
I'm willing to
for me
bet
to
I
go,
probably have
oh,
not heard a single one.
who knew? Well, anyway, besides her singing voice, which I'm sure is lovely, she won a Grammy.
$15 will get you a cup of coffee.
She has a real voice. Like she says something, you heard about it. I typed it. Everybody's talking about it. It's
I was just scrolling by on Facebook and it popped up, and I'm like, "Who is this?"
yeah. Well, it's trending according to the Giggle Bar, my nickname for Google. For you kids, used to you had to plug Google in. You had to download and install what they called a plug-in for your browser, and it was called the
Yeah,
Google Bar. If you wanted to
and
search in your address bar via Google, so I call it the
and one
Giggle
group
Bar.
that is and one group that's picked it up is Native American Cultural Regions. That's the this group.
I'm sure. Go stand on the frozen tundra in Minnesota and hold a sign about it.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, whatever. But my thing is, if somebody can get a hold of her, tell her with that loud voice of yours that people will listen to. Push a new immigration policy. Instant. No, you're not an instant United States citizen. You'll be granted some kind of thing and do away with all these visas, all this other stuff. No more gold, $100,000 visas because Donald Trump said so. I don't care what all this stuff is. I know lots of people who came here legally and then they had all the problems, especially the Chinese. I can't go home and go back through my embassy. If I go home, they're going to un-Americanize me with the Uyghurs in those special camps. They call them schools. That it's so impossible to just be here legally. We have got to accept that it's 2026. 3D scan them, weigh them, DNA them, pluck their hair out, photos, the whole 9 yards, fingerprints and footprints, and allow them entry and allow them legal, issue them a federal employee, not employer, employee ID number. And they have to pay all the taxes even though they don't qualify for it. Any of the benefit of those taxes and cuts, and make it instant. but make this super, super hard rules if you mess up at all. It's like being on probation to be welcome here. If you do anything that's considered crime, not a traffic infraction, you're out. Forever. Permanent and total. We'll let you in here as long as you'll be a producer. And not like anybody goes to school here for free. You got to pay for that too. You have to stimulate our economy and be a part of it. You're not
Now,
entitled to
here's
any.
the one I find funny when you mention pay for schools. How many people who do not have kids, so they don't use the school system, pay for other people's kids?
One.
I'm another. That's
Yep.
what my property tax is supposed to go for, is education.
And all kinds of other things. All kinds of hunks of sales tax, property tax, all kinds of stuff. And that's
Just
what
like,
is social.
go ahead.
Socialisms. No, you go ahead. Just like what?
Well, I was going to say, just like gas tax in North Carolina, it's supposed to go to maintaining highways. I got a feeling it doesn't.
And our goofy lottery was always supposed to be, it's called the North Carolina Education Lottery. It was
Hey,
supposed
but
to
it
help
only goes
us.
to, yeah. And I think the state gets a quarter out of every dollar if they're lucky, and of that quarter, 80% of it goes to colleges.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's schools aren't bragging about how fine their budgets have been since we got a lottery.
No, those people up in Raleigh just figure out ways to spend more money on things that we can't understand.
Yeah. All right. Did we beat all those living and dead horses properly? Are we ready to talk about rip coppers?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, if you got more to say on those other.
Oh,
But
I always have more. It's just I'm interested in. Okay, shooting in Georgia hotel leaves one officer killed and another seriously wounded. I want to know, were they staying in the hotel or were they trying to arrest someone in the hotel?
they weren't staying there. I'm trying to find one. Outlook India. No, thank you. Let's try whatever a WALB is and hope they don't have a whole bunch of pictographic, movie-fied. Yay, WALB. They got a rodent in their advertisement. Gwinnett County police officer KIA'd another hurt in shouting at Stone Mountain Hotel. Police
The Stone
chief.
Mountain Hotel or a Stone Mountain Hotel?
It's just called Stone Mountain Hotel. So I don't know. Is it a hotel in or
There is
around?
one actually on Stone Mountain Park. Yes.
We'll find out. Police Chief J.D. McClure called this an unprovoked attack. We'll find out. We're going to get some details. And I hate this. You bad guys, listen. The old guys with a proven track record. The rights violators and abusers. If you're going to play shout out with those coppers, call them out into the street, wait for the clock to strike 12 on the clock tower with a clear background, and you guys go at it. I'd prefer you go to a closed, like the Shout House at whatever that place is. The Range Complex. It's concrete, backstop. 360 degrees, and you guys go play cowboys and stand in the street. But leave our baby cops alone. 25 is a baby cop. Officer Pradeep Tamang. Sorry if I said it wrong. Was KIA'd in the line of duty. Corporal David Reed was seriously injured after responding to a fraud call at a hotel in Stone Mountain. Updated 21 hours ago. In Atlanta, Georgia, the Gwinnett County police officers struck by G-word fire Sunday morning have been identified. Officer Pradeep Tamang, 25, was KIA'd in the line of duty. Oh, that's just a repeat. There's a big picture of him. This way, right in the center of the screen-ish, would be good for anybody looking at this on a telephone. Now we'll zoom it big for us computer people. Whatever he did as a cop, even if he was a bad cop, probably didn't deserve that. According to Gwinnett County Police, Tamang and Reed responded to a hotel located on the 1790 East Park Place Boulevard. Why won't they name the freaking hotel? Hey, news people, I could mark this off and do right click, search Google for, and it brought me Lincoln to North Carolina, but I will say, comma, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Appears to be a Holiday Inn Express Atlanta Stone Mountain by IHG. Hang on, I saw the chat move. Let me drag it over here and make sure. I saw today in the White House DHS post that all those officers will now be given chest cams. I replied, my younger son will be glad someone followed his suggestion. Now Congress and all elected. Yeah. And if you guys want some leadership, me and George are for sale. I mean, willing to work. Teach all you how to behave. But we're going to talk about this poor guy who needed some leadership. Were you in code orange red? What color was your mental code, sir? Haven't you read the book? It's free on the internet. See the NCPPSB? All right. When they arrived, they confronted the suspect, 35-year-old Kevin Andrews, inside a room police believe was rented fraudulently. Myself and George's SIG-O/wife, labels and identities identified, ascertained.
It was a Holiday Express.
Worked very hard doing scurdy at hotels. Hey, hotels. The police are not your when you need them security. Hire yourself private security that knows what they're doing. We can replace a lot more security officers than we can cops. Faster and easier. I'm being very ugly because I'm ugly. I'm an ugly people. Gwinnett County Police Chief J.D. McClure said the officers were invited into the room. No. Hey, George, do you remember the thing? I wish Bill Hughes was on here. He would already be typing it in the chat or hop on the Discord and say something. When we work the hotels and the residentials, guess when we go in the rooms, in the apartments? Never. That's when. Police have a different thing, allegedly. But you got to control the scene, just like you don't get in people's car because you got them pulled over at the side of the road, you do not go in their place at the hotel, at the apartment, at the house. Get them outside or get the SWAT team and then get them outside. Pat and I were
It's
not pleased to get. Hang on, I'm reading a chat. Pat and I were not pleased to get our VIP reserve at that hotel chain and find it was filled with taxpayer paid criminals. We told the ladies of the night, the oldest profession, not to get down, pray, and look for a better lifestyle. And then Elizabeth said, never, in all caps. That's when you go in the room. Never. Without exception, like the 4 firearm rules. There's no exception to never and always. The suspect produced a hand G word and in an unprovoked attack fired at our Gwinnett County police officers, McClure said. Control your scene. Control your scene. Hashtag too soon. Listen on my police people. Until the PPSB screwed me out of it, I used to teach real cops. And unfortunately, the real cop schools and everybody else and the PPSB don't like me because I deal with the reality of it. The only way this thing happens, what link needed to be broken? Control the scene. If you had whatever, I don't care who invited you where, you must. Terry stop, Terry frisk, officer safety, officer safety, officer safety. Control it. I'll pull up a story in a while ago. Single action 22 caliber that I own one of. An old replica cowboy fun G word. Pew Pew's 22s. A baby cop in Arizona got unalivey from that thing ripped out of some bad guy's pocket. Having a mental crisis, etc., etc. Control your scene, cops. Oh my gosh, strange old great grandmother who took public administration of justice knows better than not properly trained officers, rip young officers. Control your scene, absolutely. Control your encounter, control your scene. Screaming during FTO operations, field training operations, field training in a very bad place at a very bad time, allegedly, reportedly. It is the most yelled one cop to another, and you're going to likely get hit in the butt with a towel back in the locker room when you weren't controlling your scene. Both officers were struck and fired back, who sustained non-life-threatening injuries. I'm not going to make fun of cops and how they can't shout. I will holla at the great Chad Thompson, and no, it's not something he invented, but he slings it and sings it so it sticks. Action is faster than reaction. Tries to teach it to security people, tries to teach it to teachers, and definitely tries to teach it to coppers. If you allow them to act, and once they got themselves in immediate danger, this is a train wreck. Immediate danger is a sub definition or included definition of imminent threat. Officer Tamang, I apologize, Officer Rip, for mangling your name over and over. Did not survive his injuries, and Corporal Reed was seriously injured. Tamang, who was originally from Nepal, joined the Gwinnett County Police Department in the spring of 2025. See? Him and his family somehow migrated or immigrated here and became a police officer. To the Gwinnett community, we as police department will not be deterred. We will continue to provide for the safety of this community. We ask the community to continue to support us. These officers are heroes. They go out to the road every day and face uncertainty. They also understand that at the end of the day, they provide a very valuable service that is safety, McClure added. Kamong was engaged to be married. Oh, God, here we go again with that. I can't remember his long, complicated name, and I don't want to mangle it, but I'll look him up. Here's another one for you baby cops, you academy kids. Marry that girl. Get everything done right now. Get all your paperwork in order. Get everything done. Run off to the justice of the peace or the county courthouse. Have your big dang ceremony later. Quit believing that you live forever, because you know what engaged is? Out of luck. Even though back when I was going through it, we don't pay the life insurance from the very large metropolitan law enforcement office or agency or department. We don't pay the roommates. You got to get myriad. And my less unloud voice combined with hundreds or thousands of others got that fixed in California. But the problem is you still got to sign the papers right. Stop it. It's 2026. You can have you're going to be paying that plus interest for the next 40 years of your marriage. You'll be 30 years divorced and still paying for that big ceremony with ice sculptures. But in case a bad thing happens, quit with this 2.5 years engagements and playing fiancés.
I'll
Especially
go
if
one further. If your significant other is joining the military, marry before they go to basic. Because there will be a lot of times that you're going to want to do something and you can't because you're not related to the soldier in question.
It's the same with, even though specifically the life insurance policies were not allowed to discriminate anymore after about 91, 92. Every other benefit is based on familial or family relations. And you can't lie about it. It always cracks me up when I have to call the hospital about somebody. And they're like, oh, are you related? I'm like, yeah, I'm their brother. Oh, okay.
I know because I've done business for a friend of mine saying I'm his son. So it's like,
But
but
when
there are
it
certain
comes,
groups,
yeah.
or as you said, there becomes a time when that's not good enough.
Well, in law enforcement, which is a government agency, and the military that you just brought up, there is nothing for roommate slash boy slash girlfriend, fiance. There's nothing surviving spouse. There's counseling. There's professional pill pushers, psychiatrists and psychologists through the VA. All police departments in most states, tiny little towns like mine that I live in, probably doesn't have a whole lot, but it has something, including most of the people, they don't want to drive a long way to work in a little podunk like this. Are We're supposed to have statewide uniformity in police pay, but we don't. Little burgs like where I am at pay about 66% of what you could get, especially if you're going to go work in a danger place like Durham. So people that live 20 minutes from Durham and 40 minutes from here, they look at dollars and cents and say, well, I'll go work in Durham. I get paid a lot more. And Durham has a whole civilian review board and that my town doesn't have, my city. They're all grown up. When I moved here, it was charter as a town. And then they lied about the numbers to get it renamed and rechartered as a city. Because city is bigger than a town. And yes, it really was that small-minded. Anyway, I did run down the road. Brian, I think the guy's first name was. LASD deputy ambushed in his car. See how I mangled his name? LA County Sheriff's Deputy Ryan Klinkenbrummer, 30 years old, was fatally shouted on September 16th, 2023, while in his patrol car in an unprovoked ambush-style attack in Palmdale. It wasn't an ambush. Somebody rolled up on him. They weren't laying in wait. He was distracted. He was exhausted. No cop has to work overtime. Cops, get off it. But they make them feel as if they have to, and he was worked well beyond exhaustion, beyond already a 24-hour shift. And he was looking in screens. I sent emails back and forth. Instead of his eyes being up and looking in his mirrors and head on a swivel, what I don't know is, was he looking at an official screen, which they have 3 in Los Angeles? They have a computer in their car and 2 gizmos like a tablet and a phone that all do stuff affiliated with their job, dispatch. But hey, cops, don't be distracted while driving, even at a red light. These are the absurdities of the world we live in and pass away in. He was face down when somebody rolled up on the driver's side of his car, shouted him through his ear. He never even looked up. He was so exhausted and fatigued. And what also happened in this is that his fiance got nothing. And then his parents, they didn't mean to, but they did. They filed a lawsuit, which the court ruled because his real relatives, who are entitled under law for damages, their suit could go forward, but the fiance lady is out. She can't even file a lawsuit.
Well, I'll go one even better than that. This happened in the military, mind you. Is a couple were going to get married. They were just waiting for him to get a leave to get so they could get married. She's pregnant with his child. He falls off the back of a deuce and a half because they're hauling mattresses, and versus sitting somewhere safe, he's sitting on top of the mattresses. Cracks his skull, dies, and the fiance and the child get nothing. His parents get everything.
Yep.
And they said, "That's not my grandkid, and I'm not going to let you have anything."
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah.
And there's another horrifying case. This isn't about a baby cop. This is about a baby cop who unalived a guy who didn't need it in Arizona. The "you're effed" guy. He had "you're effed" engraved on the dust cover of his AR. The Chinese people call it wife. His significant other woman, and that's another one that destiny put us together through the Facebook, which I don't have anymore, so there will never be another. Take that, Mark Zuckerberg. My work there was finished because with me assisting lawyers, plural, and giving thoughts and giving whatever to let them bounce things around. Number one, the bad sergeant took his retirement and fled to Mexico because Mexico's not a financial extradition country. Here, all you bad cops, start packing your money up for south of the border. It's another thing that we should probably talk to Donald Trump about. You're going to export our money to that place? Oh, no, you're not. We'll hold it for you in an American bank account earning interest, and when you come back to face your civil lawsuits or judgments, you can have it. Retirement, bad cop. Anyway, the wife, woman, mother of 2 children of the guy that got horribly red rummed by dumb cops. It's not red rum, it's just negligent homicide. In Keystone Coppery that ends in cooling off room temperature bodies these days. She got nothing, but finally at last they put out like $8 million that went in trust, that she gets like some as their guardian, as their mother. She gets a little stipend, to handle the trust and manage keep them a roof over their head and food in their bellies. But the kids getting the money, not her, because they weren't married. I know, it's dumb. That's how that goes, people. That's how it really is. It doesn't matter what we think it should be. All right. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Hashtag too soon. Any of you that are getting involved in anything, as soon as you get up off that knee, whoever got on their knee, go straight to some legal authority and get the marital contract. And if the crazy clerk of the court lady tries to tell you no, remind them that they failed twice at the Supreme Court with that jazz and go demand a different clerk of the court or fly yourself out to Las Vegas. Clark County will take care of you. Charges are still pending for Andrews, who police had a lengthy criminal history, including multiple felony convictions for violent crimes, G-word crimes, and narcotics. But they went over there and did a knock and entry on invitation when the hotel, listen, police management, Chief McClure, whoever's handling your decentralized dispatch, if they are, they got rid of our dispatch about a decade ago in goofy little town that I live in. Saving money. Dispatch, when you get a call from a hotel or whatever that they want police to come do their private security and their private company management job of put this person out of our hotel. Oh no, not until you tried. But then if you're really going to do it, coppers, the hotel has their name and all of their information. You better start looking in your database before you go never in that room, especially not in a hotel. Get them out. Get them shook down. Hands, hands, hands. Body cameras running. Tell them to get their camera out for your protection and mine, where we're going to video and audio record this encounter. And for your protection and mine, if you won't agree to let me pat you down externally for weapons, the Terry standard, then you and I are not going to interact. Why? Because I'm going home tonight and this is private property. This is the hotel's problem. How did he get the room by fraud? I know there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. But hotels, get with your private contract security or your internal management and internal security, because the cops won't fix this. They are fools. They are going to rush in where they shouldn't and not rush in where they should. See Uvalde. And because they don't get any training and supervision. Hey, Georgia cops. I went to Georgia to get my NRA law enforcement certificate and used to go down there quite regularly to train your police, because you don't have a goofy outfit like North Carolina does with two subdivided. We have criminal justice standards and then we have sheriff standards in training. We are utterly a house divided. Georgia rolls with, we'll use the NRA stuff. But Georgia, call it a controversy between the states, which gives the United States Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, first jurisdiction, or whatever they call it. Elizabeth probably knows. I don't remember all those fancy terms. I'm a G word guy. But because the PPSB disappeared my CEs, I had no continuing education hour credits at renewal time, conveniently. And they don't care, because they don't ever think that anything could happen outside of their little PPSB broom closet in Raleigh. That's their whole view of the whole world. But all it cost was you getting any training, where I would have taught in my classes, because I teach a lot of stuff in my classes, including never, ever, without exception, do you go in a hotel room or an apartment. If you must, because of exigencies, wait, stack up and wait for backup. Everybody's got it all backwards. That's what happened at Uvalde, is they stack up and wait for backup. No, no, no. That's for the barricaded whatever, and the word barricaded got tossed out by somebody at Uvalde, so they try to backdate it and say, that's what happened. Everybody said barricaded. Yeah, that's what happened. That's not what happened. They fell back on a piece of their training. They heard that somewhere. Georgia Bureau of Investigation is leading the investigation. An official donation link has been set up for anyone wanting to support the officers' families. Fiance is probably not considered. Damn you, world.
Well, the other reason I said, marry before going to basic in the military, if that's your couple's plan to get married, is one, the military will give the spouse classes on what they're entitled to the day of graduation. You don't get anything until they graduate basic training, but they will give you classes and tell you on how and what you need to do. Then, while they're at AIT or their advanced training, whatever that may be, you on their time off, it's easier for you to see them or get hotel rooms at that base at military rates.
And if there's off base housing allowances for spouses.
It starts right as soon as they finish basic, and it goes by where their home station is going to be.
Nope.
Been there, done that. Missed getting the T-shirt.
Yeah, didn't even get a T-shirt.
No, because we waited till after she was through basic training in AIT.
Yep.
So
So
once they're in AIT, they're not allowed to get married without permission.
Yep. So all that, I think I'm done ranting. But if somebody can get the ear, hey George, no, I mean, I said I think I'm done. If you got more rantery disactivated, can't say the T word anymore.
I won't say this is ranting. I'm saying this is some advice. If you and another person are planning on becoming a couple, and you know this before one or both of y'all go to basic training, tie the knot first. You will get more out of what you're entitled to. If you wait, it's going to make everything harder.
Yep.
Including with, if like with us, getting her name changed correctly.
Yep. All right, let's go. And it'll really, all right. Officer Pradeep Tamal. I hope I'm saying that right. 25. Baby cop. I don't care who thinks that's rude. That's what I call all young people who get in the uniform. Handsome feller. Rip. I don't know the right words. There aren't any. Wish I could have been there for you, bro. That kind of thing. And there will always be. I kind of need to pee. I'm not enjoying the tingly feeling. Continue on, George. Say something else about AITs and basics and get married now. Get married now.
Well, I mean,
Divorce is as easy as marriage in America.
not to mention when, let's say if they're going active duty, not reserve or National Guard, that puts you one ahead of the line when you go to the new base for housing. If you're going to try and get on base housing. And there's all kinds of benefits to doing it. One, let's say if your significant other needs health care while you're at AIT, if you're not married, the Army wasn't going to pay for it. And since they're considered fully active as a reservist at that point, you don't have to pay for it out of your pocket to get the TRICARE. You only have to pay for it really once they're you're in the reserves, and as a reserves enlisted, it costs more than you realize to get TRICARE. In fact, as an E4, it would probably cost you your entire paycheck that you get for serving that month, plus some, to get TRICARE. Dean, you still there? He must have walked away. Also, I would appreciate if cops and movie writers and TV show people would remember the 4 rules of gun safety. I saw a show that I really liked, but they broke, major rules of gun safety, demonstrating this gunfight. For instance, one set of FBI agents were shooting as the second set were moving into their line of fire. But they still shot at moving targets, which are very hard to shoot at. Stationary targets, that's easy peasy. Moving targets are a lot harder. And I don't know if the FBI trains in moving targets. I think they do the flip targets, what they used to call danger alley. And that's to try and identify shoot, don't shoot targets. Not to mention, I wouldn't mind if TV shows, if it's a cop, let them do what cops do. If it's an FBI agent, don't do a cop's job. That is not your job. Your job is an FBI's job. I mean, you are federal law investigators. You shouldn't even be law enforcement officers, in my opinion. In my opinion, the only federal law enforcement officers we should be allowed to have, which is under the Constitution, which are U.S. Marshals. And everybody else should be under the U.S. Marshals. The FBI, you can have investigators under the U.S. Marshals. And you'd cut your bureaucracy in half.
Okay, I'm back. I saw the little green and yellow bouncing, so thanks for filling the space, sir.
No problem.
All right, let's talk about Rip to our baby cop. Could have been. All the things that could have been. But
I
here's
wonder why
gonna
his shoulder patches are different than the senior officer's shoulder patches.
I don't know. I think it said in here that he just joined this department in 2025. Maybe he's a probational.
Oh, probationary cop? Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can read it. It says Gwinnett County Police. I can't read what the blue letters are. I don't know. But here we're going to talk about some stuff. Warning, warning, warning. I don't know a not adult way to say it. But it's not so adult that I have to mark this as an adult only thing. Children, fade away. Somebody clip this piece and go stick it in your police school and talk amongst yourselves. Or any other school. Put it in your security classes. Put it in your, I keep bringing up often. Put it in your sandwich shop classes. Do you really
Your
want to?
firearm safety classes.
Do you really want to get shouted in the face through a glass door over mayonnaise? And here's the why of it. And it's been in some of these live things. X's over your eyes, or fate's worse than. Being the survivor, this guy, Corporal, he's got rank. He might be a training officer, Corporal David Reed. If anybody anywhere, whoever hears this, has a chance to get with, what's Chief's name? I forget. McClure? Yes, Chief McClure. or with Corporal David Reed, I guarantee you, Corporal David Reed, not because of his own injuries, and maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to give this kind of credit because this is what guys in the military, I don't care. I say guy, and I mean man, woman, everybody. I don't care what your stuff is all about. All that stuff is out the window when life is on the line. If you don't want to accept that there may be some confusion and some attraction and can't deal with that as an adult, well, then you sure as heck don't need to be out riding around in a cop car or in the military. Why anything, even if you didn't get shouted, and maybe it's just my own misunderstanding or projecting upon him how I would feel. So maybe let's play it that way. But this is what happens. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas happen thousands of times a minute in your head. What do we learn from this? What was wrong? What link in this chain of events needed to be broken so that this event didn't end up the chain locked with the unaliving of this fine young person? Very young. All of that is going to play nonstop, high speed, day, night. We call it PTSD in America, and we throw that word around that now somebody looking at you funny is called IR word that we can't say anymore, and it causes you PTSD. You got to do some growing up before you get shouted in a hotel room. And the survivors of it, if there's any human left in them at all, will gnash their teeth and worry and lose sleep. And the problem you will find, Corporal David Reed, is that your buddies in blue are going to want to go to the bar with you and tell you to shut up about all that jazz and suck it up, Buttercup, and here, suck on another brewski. The answer is not in the psychobabbler's pharmaceutical pills that cause you hallucinations and depersonalization and somnambulation and all the other things that allegedly, reportedly. Remember, Ambien was used as a defense in a mass shouting. The answer lies with finding somebody, and if nobody else on planet Earth will listen to you, Corporal David Reed, and not tell you woulda, coulda, shoulda, or how that would have never happened to them, even though I did tear this apart from minute one. I've said it out here on my live stream, and if somehow you and I actually had the destiny to, hey, sir, number one, I know you're not okay, but are you upright and functional? And then number two, holla. Say whatever you got to say or don't say nothing. I'll sit right here and shut up too. And either way, you got to do a whole lot of, besides the woulda, coulda, shouldas, what always happens, especially, extra especially, without a doubt. And I've got hundreds out of the thousands of people I've teacher, trainer, instructor that have hit me back up and said, you know what? Never heard it that way before, and you were right. What starts in the moment, if it's just, let's take poor officer Pradeep Tamong out of the picture. Let's say it was one-on-one. Only David Reed and this bad guy. the second while it's happening, your brain and things inside you start asking you why, like a ding-danging 3-year-old, but fast. Why me? Why now? Why deity? Why didn't I have the flu today? Why did I take this call? Why did I do this? Why couldn't I have had a flat tire? The whys and the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I'll guarantee you, I say it fast and I said hashtag too soon. I bet you Corporal David Reed, if he was conscious, didn't make it all the way to the hospital for the serious injuries to start asking out loud and thousands of times internally what went wrong. And every bit of his own self-learning said, never get into space. Just like you should never walk in front of the frame where the front door closes on a vehicle when you're at a traffic stop. Both places are called fatal funnel or the KILL box. Never, without exception. He's gone through all of this forward, backward, up and down. His mind is freeze framing. If only I could reached out. If only I could have drawn my G word faster. If only. It's why, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and what's wrong with this individual picture. That's what happens. And the answer is not in a bottle of pills or alcohol. And there goes. That's my repeated teaching. I teach it to everybody. And I'll repeat it again, just in case this is the one you heard. Have, besides your brass, there's people you have to notify. When you're police, you have to notify upstairs. The stars and the stripes. Get them informed. You have to call an ambulance. Yeah, there's a lot of notifications that got to go around. Then you got to be thinking about, now there's going to be different versions of the stories. Hopefully they have body cams to back them up, and they were on. That dude can't say something as dumb as, they didn't properly identify themselves. I didn't know they were real cops. Blah, blah, blah. They drew theirs first. And bad guys are going to go vigorously defending themselves, telling lies. That's no surprise. What you've got to have besides your own attorney, you can't trust the police department or a city or their insurers or the county. You need your own attorney who handles civil and criminal, or law firm that handles both, especially you private security guards. This is a government employee. They have some level of immunity and indemnity. The taxpayers got to cover some legal expenses for David Reed and or Ripped Tamong putting perforations or aerating the bad guy. Anybody can sue anybody for anything in America, but you've got to have your own personal, private, who will look out for your interests. Law, first name law. This is again a Chad Thompsonism. Everybody go look him up at Cop9MM. Type in his chats that I keep back running my mouth about him, and we need him to do more of his videos about G words and police work and everything else. He was busy for a while on his YouTube, and then he fell off. Lure him back. I'll pull his tube up in a minute, in a while. But he always says, about the fifth time they ask you your name, tell them first name Law, last name Yer. But I haven't heard him tell his classes, but I tell all of mine. Now, once we're past the really cool Chad stuff, here's the Dean stuff. Who are you going to contact that you can speak to in confidence, that will listen to you and not tell you woulda, coulda, shoulda, and how that would have never happened to them? Face to face or ear to phone, I would never say the things that I've already said about never go in the hotel room. I would just, you okay, sir? Tell me what happened. Tell me anything you want to say. Tell me about, do you remember once when you rode your bike at night and the knobs on the tire looked like they were going backwards because of the street lights? That kind of thing. The time to tear that apart is like right here on your live inner tubes that may or may not get to somebody that matters. But hopefully this gets out somewhere. If one person on the whole planet listened to this and heard whatever that song says, marry that girl, that all the girls for 20 years now have played at their weddings or receptions. Song, marry that girl. I'm not a robot. Yay, Google gave me a game of crosswalks. It's a reCAPTCHA. Is there a timer? Click, click, click. Oh no. I clicked outside the reCAPTCHA box because I zoomed the screen. Crosswalks. Take two. Clickety click. Now I can't tell. Give me a Verfie. There's a white stripe on the ground with a shadow on it. Verfie. Got it. This says 2023. That can't be it. Oh well. Use that one. Easton Corbin. Marry that girl. 2023. It's new. It's fresh. But yes. It must be part of the lyrics, not the title of the older one. Hey, if you know, type it in the chat. Type in a comment when you're listening to this next year. Yes. So marry that girl. Know if a bad thing happens, who you're going to call and speak to in confidence that won't tell you woulda, coulda, shoulda. Or, that's how it is. It's all a part of the plan. That doesn't help. Everybody that says, it was meant to be, stop saying that. It makes guys like me who teach other people, don't tell people to relax or calm down, just want to twist your arm, practice my arrest techniques on you, and say, relax, 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 stop resisting. And then we have to go to reach out and say our hearts and thoughts and prayers and whatever else you got, sparkly good feelings for all of those involved, including the should have been his wife, is his wife. I wish they'd have put her name in here. In the first ever article I saw about Klinkenbrummer, they named the fiance. And I can't remember her name. There's been too many of these things. Let's see. What does it say? Now let me give a little credit, not a sponsor. Let me get their sponsors off my screen. Check back with Atlanta News First at WALB.com. Because you got a pretty good newsy site here where I can zoom my screen and get all the ads off to one side and there's not pop-in ads. And this is a very well played story. Good job. But especially because I can get your stuff off the screen. There we are. Sorry, I hiccuped. Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe I wasn't supposed to name them. WRAL, fix your stuff. Do away with the ads and the auto pops and the slide over things and the bouncy screen. Go study WALB. Next. Next. And all you Gwinnett County police officers and Gwinnett County everybody's and security officers. Get together, get each other's backs. Security guards, front run this and go, security companies, go tell these hotels what you need is private security. Some of us out here are trained and experienced, then you never go in the room. If they got the room by fraud, they're getting out. If they won't step out in the hall, then we're going to call a lot of cops and do some background digging, like type the bad guy's name in Google bar. Or your statewide criminal history search. Once upon a time at the hotel where myself and George's wife worked, a really bad guy was reading me his riot act and causes me to giggle a little bit because he was telling me how he had 10. I don't remember if he said he had 10 warrants or 10 something, but all involved assault on a police officer. Nobody has a special assault on a security guard or security officer. Assault on a police officer inflicting great bodily injury. And he was bragging about it. And I also teach that in my classes. When somebody reads you their resume, believe them. Everything else they say is a lie, but if they start talking that kind of tough guy talk, believe them. Well, the lady at the hotel had herself an account with a background check place, and because she had his stuff at the hotel, she typed his name in criminal background checks, and yep, he sure enough did. I don't remember how many outstanding warrants, and he'd already had convictions. And moving at the great state of our justice system, or the great speed of our justice system in America, this dude had at least a dozen inflicting great bodily harm or injury upon a law enforcement officer charges pending. And he was out in the world. Yep. Hotels. Come on now. Do better. Everybody do better. Well, that was kind of deep, man, but it was good. We may have learned something. Somebody somewhere could learn something. Military people, police people, truck driving people. Whatever you're doing, it could be very dangerous. Quit with the 7.5 year engagements with 200 registries. Uh-oh. Sorry, Elizabeth. I was busy ranting and clicking screens. McClure, that was near us, near where Trina used to live. He was very sad because so many loved him, but he noted, never worked too many hours. Oh, yeah. McClure is the police chief name. Good answer. Good answer. That was near us. Yes, that was in Los Angeles County. Uh, Broomer. I had his name right 2 or 3 times, and now it has escaped me again. And never put Super Watch Cop off duty. Never work too many hours. Same goes for the ambulance people. You always think you can. And you really are doing the good work. All of you. Firefighters, ambulances, polices. Go back and listen to my previous 2 ranting about the PPSB, especially the second one. That's a bunch of idiots wrapped in police clothes. Pig in a blanket. Working for straight time pay because their city and our stupid state won't pay them their overtime. So they're out in the world working 60, 70 hours a week, stealing our private security people jobs, illegally impersonating police who are impersonating security guards. It's such madness because we live in a very broken place, in a broken system. Don't do it to yourself. We know, especially you guy cops, you got at least 3 to 7 alimony checks you gotta pay. Actors have it worse. Get your house in order. If you can't take care of you, you can't police the nation. And that's way too grown up to deal with. We police the policing with the coppers we have, not the cops we wish we had. But dealing with all the reality of it. Yep. All of you good peoples, no matter what you do, your duty, as I have said in many of my live streams, and I say it in all of my classes for every kind of, I tell the poor people, if you don't want me to ever say it to anyone else, just like a couple weeks ago, fine young person, me and them all alone in a little classroom doing 16 hours of PPSB. And the first part is, here's how you find the PPSB on the internet. You type NC PPSB in your giggle bar, and before, during, or after your reCAPTCHA, you get the North Carolina Private Protective Services Board at the NCDPS. If you went there, this is the first part of every one of my classes. Someone sent a link of this to Paul Sherwin, director of the board. Complaints. If I did anything to you in your class that you think I should never do that again to anyone ever again, you go right here, click complaints, put it in your email. They will put a trophy up of you in Raleigh because you're the one who finally got a complaint in on Dean, and we can get rid of him. That's lesson 1 of class. Anything security in North Carolina, just go get me shut down. Don't let me ever teach a bad class to anybody. Not even a thing in a class that was bad. Because that's me taking responsibility for myself and having some integrity, which no one else in America has to. But I have some. Number 1 is complaints, and number 2, that may not always come second in the list, but it always comes several times. And are we clear on this? Here goes. It's just Dean's little script that he never wrote down. It just made it up in his head, probably when he was 15, 16 years old. Don't care what you do in this world. That's a job. Even if you like it and you may get paid rich and you're passionate about it and you call it a career, it's just a job. Your duty, all capital letters, is to take yourself home unless truly 100% your work/career is your only everything. But if you have anybody depending on you for anything, and that could be a puppy or a kitty or a flower, or see Leon the Professional's beautiful plant. See the movie Leon the Professional. Your duty, DUTY, is to go home at the end of every shift as unhurt in every way possible to whoever's stupid enough to love you and or depend on you. That's it. You don't like my classes, I don't care. You don't like my YouTube video? Go click on complaints and see if the board will listen to a complaint. I'm sure they'll suspend me pending investigation. I'm willing to wing it. Don't abuse the board, people. They already have enough excuses. If 15 people came on the internet, oh, I saw that idiot's VOD. And I didn't know I could go fill out a complaint. Well, you can't. You got to give them a legit email address, and it confirms it to that email address. Click here to submit a complaint. After you've submitted, look, they got a lot of words. But that's it. And it really should come first. We should teach it in K 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your job, first grader, is to go home to your parents tonight as unhurt in every way possible as possible. And push that through people's heads. But there I went off on that another. There you go. Marry that girl. George got quiet. George was like,
I'm listening.
yeah. All right. Well, we got through my headlines. We got through one a year. It wasn't even a headline. It was just some scroll bar on the face space.
Yep.
What else we got? Some of the snow melted for me. Not enough. How about you, George? Did your roads clear up?
I haven't been outside.
Oh,
Jen managed to make it to work, so I'd say it's pretty. The roads are pretty clear.
yeah. And we got to take her mama to an appointment tomorrow in Fuquay, Varina. But it's in the afternoon, so it should be okay. And it involves her car, not my car, my van. My van is going to be in limited service until I get that windshield replaced. Don't need the hassles of a fix-it ticket, and I don't need the hassles of potentially deadly implosion of a windshield. Mm,
I can
life.
only tell you by the North Carolina safety uh, DMV, you do not need a windshield. You just, according to their laws, you just need a little place that you can put the little inspection sticker, which we don't have anymore.
Right. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
long as it doesn't obstruct your view, you're okay.
Yeah, it's the fine print is not what interests me. It's the idea that
I get it.
that
You want it fixed.
no, it's not safe. You know, what if you're hauling down the highway at 50 miles per hour and that son of a gun blows inward? It's going to hit the driver in the face at 50 miles per hour. Yup. Let's look at some local news. Clouds for midweek. More snow possible Wednesday. Yay.
Rain. It's going to be rain.
Yeah, 1 minute at a time. I don't even have days to give, let alone hours. 1 minute at a time. Conserve water. Extreme cold causing water treatment issues at Johnson County. County says. Okie doke. Oh, Priscilla was checking this out earlier. Sheriff says we do in fact have a crime scene in search for Today host Savannah Guthrie's mom. I don't watch television, so I don't know who Today host Savannah Guthrie or her mother is, but yuck. I saw that this woman has turned up missing. Clintons agreed to testify. We looked at that earlier. Please throw away the apps. Just stop it. Just stop it. Oh, horse rescued after falling into frozen Moore County pond, firefighters say. Bravo, horse rescuers. There you go, Elizabeth. LaGrange man in critical condition after pew-pewing in Goldsboro. Moving on. Oh no. Imagine Jeffrey Epstein had a relationship between a tenuous tie and a Duke University professor. Noem says every security officer is getting a body cam. Yeah, I got bombarded today by several more about the dude, the nurse. I can't even remember his name. Don't care. It's a bad, bad thing. It involves Ice Ice Baby. Everybody's wrong. That's how that works. Rip. Now it says one watching now. Oh well. I never know if mine's correct or not. Wake Med says nearly half of children's ER visits were related to sledding last week. Okay. Be careful in the snow. Charlotte Symphony Orchestra's first black music director wins a Grammy. Yay. A friend of ours in Dunn, son-in-law, I think is what you call the gentleman married to her daughter. I don't think he was the director, he was a conductor and a writer, a musician, but he was definitely the conductor of the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra for several years. And we used to get to go down there and eat at the fancy restaurant and go special box seats or whatever they call them at the symphony and listen to beautiful music and then go hang out afterwards with the big names in the private after parties for the Charlotte Symphony and their sponsors. Little old me. Yup. And that all started over a horse. There was a really old horse. in a really old field lawn stand of trees across the street from the convenience store gas station. Mm. A million many years ago, right here in Dunn, North Carolina. And that happened to be the stop on my way where I could get gas and a cup of coffee and usually an apple. That would be my breakfast, apple and coffee on the way to Raleigh to work. Very early in the morning. But across the street was this old brown, not gray, mare that was very long since it had had regular care. It had shaggy hair and all that stuff. And it would say blup, blup, blup to just about everybody that stepped out of their car at the gas station. So since I was getting me an apple anyway, and there was a horse saying blup, 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 I bought 2 apples. And I would take one across the street and feed horse an apple while I ate my apple. And scratch its head and try to. I did go by myself, and I already owned, always keep your tools. I already owned all my horse grooming equipment. But what I never really used was those metal curry combs. I always used the rubber ones. This one, I went and got the metal one. And began slowly and surely, day by day, step by step, inch by inch, getting this horse back looking like a horse, not a feral monster. It turns out one day somebody came out there, a nice elder man with a big wooden box hung around his neck with a thing wired to it up into his ear. True story. That was his hearing aid. Had a big microphone in it. Wooden box, microphone, hearing aid, hung around his neck. And he was a good old dude. And that was his daughter's horse. And his daughter is the one that turned out all them years later. She was a mighty high up at a bank, headquartered in Charlotte. Way up at the bank in Charlotte. Little old people in Dunn. Be careful who you talk bad about in little towns in North Carolina. Another life lesson. Be careful who you're dealing with, who you're talking to, or who you're treating what way. You never know who they are related to. Feed the shaggy old horse an apple and give it a brush. And that's who, because we became fast friends and chosen family. Over the fence, feeding that old horse of his daughters. That's how we ended up. When daughter got married to the symphony guy, and man, it's one of the things that gets lost in when things get lost and the world is crazy on you. I think somebody I know, a good friend of mine, was seeking another CD. And I said, oh, it's in there next to my boombox CD player. And I think he took my CD that I had got from this guy who was the conductor of the symphony. Holy cow, they had a vocal version of whatever it's called. Uh, music from, was it Platoon? The one that has the famous music? Oh, yay, I'm not a robot, but I'm a captcha bot. I can capture you, Google. Thanks for the game. What am I looking for? It says, pick the cars. Click, click, click. Do I have to click the one up here? It's not clickable. I see you,
Are you talking
cars.
about Ride of the Valkyries?
No. Hang on. It's a. My mind is frozen because I'm thinking about winning the captcha game. Nope, I lost. Try again. We're looking for bicycles. I see you. Go faster. Go faster. Maybe. Murphy. Got it. It's the Adagio. Adagio for strings. From somebody Barber.
Barbara Seville.
Mm-hmm. No. Samuel Barber. Arranged and conducted by Georges with an S on the end. Delarue. And I'm probably saying the last name wrong. Gorgeous George. Georges. Samuel Barber, Adagio for strings, but because he was also the director or something of the choir being part of the symphony. Holy cow, they had the most amazing all vocal on that CD. And after the CD got gone, I tried to hit him up for another one, and for years we went back and forth, and eventually he got where they had finally adopted themselves a child, and now he was involved in being the best dad ever. He could not locate it. He could barely remember. Like, was that a one-off burnt CD that he had made, or was that a production CD they had made? Wow, that was the best ever, and it's gone forever. All vocals, all choral, all the choir. Adagio for strings, and it was magical. Hey, David, find it. This leads to this. This will lead to that. Her voice sends shivers down my spine. Dog. Look, they caught the dog in flight. Yay. Dog Lily in the snow. Mm. City of Oaks. I don't care. Don't care. It used to was they had different stuff way down here in the local news and nation world. Not so much anymore. Trump urges House to vote quickly to end the partial government shutdown. No! Shut them down. Mm. Was rescued Syrian rapper something, Al Darwish, returns home after 13 years to perform in post-Assad Damascus. That's a place I wouldn't want to go. Before, during, or after. And it's just me being a smart aleck. I used to always say, when the boss's name is Ass Hat, what do you expect him to be? I know, that's rude. I don't apologize, Mr. Assad. I'm American. I get freedom of speech. Is the FEMA backlog of disaster requests? Why is this here? Listen to me, local news. You have a whole fact check section in the next column over. A document reveals Vietnam's dual approach toward the U.S., pushing for trade, preparing for war. It ain't 1972 anymore, Vietnam. You won't kick our butt twice. I hope. Son of Norway's crown princess arrested on new allegations ahead of his R-word trial. I still never mind news people writing it. the same news people that'll cancel culture the heck out of you for saying it. I don't understand. I brought it up the other day. Hold the line, please. Sorry, the missus came in. She gave me some nice hot coffees. Anyway, we can't say the R word even though the news people can put it on their thing. But the one that really bugs me is those armed attorneys. And how many people in their comment section raged against their machine. For reading the ruling and opinions of SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States of America. They had to edit their words due to YouTube. Not friends, not affiliates, not anythings. All attorneys. They're quite the popular. I don't think I'd ever heard of them. George, you sent them my way.
Yep.
No, don't play. Don't play. They're hit and miss with me, but they're never rude. They're never low IQ. They are oftentimes really cool. Let's put them in the chat. Let's look under videos. It was something about unanimous. Here it is. 9-0 SCOTUS says goodbye to the Fourth Amendment. 12 days ago. The one man in Japan. Here he is. Hello, Brad. Good afternoon from Tokyo. I'm on the train and my earphones are in my backpack up on the shelf, so I can't actually hear you. Just wanted to stop and say hi. Oh, hi, honorable teacher. Did you see my chat and the comment about the long React text file to your 2-hour 9M compilation? Have a safe and fun trip on the train. Anybody who comes along, you can either click on his little @ handle, the one man in Japan, or you can search one man in Japan or Brad Cooks Stuff. Fantastic channel. We're growing his numbers as mine shrink. Very good videos about cooking and very great videos about Japan in general. I'm a Japanophile since the good old days.
Be right back.
Mm. Mm. He'll check. And George will be right back. Now, tube will not let me comment at all. Not even a single heart under your video. All right, so I was going on and on about the armed attorneys. Everybody give them some love. 9.0 SCOTUS says goodbye to the Fourth Amendment and all their other videos, but especially that one, because they do struggle with the fact that the Supreme Court don't own YouTube. YouTube owns YouTube. And YouTube says don't say these words. So they try to follow the YouTube rules. That's how that plays. And now the video in the video I am talking about is, so let's go there. One man in Japan. There it is. One man in Japan. So go there. And then go to Vidges. And here it is. Tori no Ichi Mega Compilation. And then we share. Copy. Who was chat? Tori no Ichi Compilation. And I guess because he can't hear me, that's for anyone slash everyone else, comma, Brad.
I'm back.
Yep. Thank you. Welcome back. I have no clue, sir. I posted a calm mu e post about it. The text is at mldragon.com/ they're on my homepage. Any of you out there and you're smart, there's how you figure out my email address. And now we need the original video is Brad's Video Insanity. Everybody go look at it. I worked hard on this for a lot of hours and said I probably will never do it again because CU equals soy sauce. Smile. Pause. Pause fingers. Star. Sauce. Yay. Playing live on the internet. I will probably never try to do tippy tappy tappy where we got it. I think 380. I don't remember which number you were, George, like 329. It's been a while. A few months anyway.
What do you mean?
One man in Japan, when I was talking about him last time, saying let's all help him out, and you went and said, you went right over and you subscribed, and you were like number 320 or 330, a nice round number.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it was a lot of subscribers ago. We're doing good. We're getting there. Anyway, next time I ever try such a thing, I'll have to have made arrangements with Mr. One Man in Japan or Brad Cook's stuff. To either have the video in an offline way so that I can do React content to it, or have grown up enough and earned enough money in this world to pay for a YouTube premium so I can do real time React content stuff. Because I really do enjoy a window on the world, especially Japan. It was very neat to me. All right, there's the chat. There's the news. Was I done with the news? Yeah, I think that's all that was. There was something else I was gonna. Oh, I know. Let's see if we can just type it in the thing. Cop, comp, cop 9mm. There he is, Chad Thompson. I took that picture. That's it. Andy Howard's H2O Fowl Farms. Chad, you really got to get up here. He's had a whole year off. Chad, sir, you got to get up here and do some more videos. You have enough subscribers that if you can get the video watch hours, you can get monetized up here. But he is the world famous Chad T, 9LL only. The one I kept talking about. He says, fifth time they ask you your name, tell them first name Law, last name Yer. And so many other things. He slings it so it sticks. Chad T, 9LL only, Thompson. That's my name for him. I am the first ever freely admitting Chad puppy. You guys can call yourself that, but just remember, he knows where it came from. You probably shouldn't call him Chad T, 9LL only. Chad Thompson. Police and G word. Teacher extraordinary. I spelled it right. Go. Now that's in the chat. Anybody who live chat replays can view it all one day. If I really try hard, I'll go copy paste all of the live chat one at a time because there's no way to download your live chats or save them as a text file. You gotta have plugins and you gotta have this and you gotta have that. Always cite your sources. All right, let's get that off the screen. Let's get chat off the screen. What else were we supposed to have on the screen? I don't know. Nothing. I don't want to go back
Sorry,
to
Dean, I'm fading fast and have to put my feet up.
Well,
I'm gonna have to call it. Sorry.
yeah. Well, maybe we ran long enough. Well, don't be sorry, sir. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. We did this for a long time, didn't we?
Well, if you stay any longer, I'm gonna leave it running while you're on.
2 hours. We did 2 hours. It's 10:16.
Yeah, it's also not counting your game. Huh?
Oh, I just mean this one. We did good.
Yeah.
But go get your feet up. Get some rest, sir. Tomorrow's hung up with appointments. Something went. Hope that wasn't my computer. Hope I didn't bump something. But anyway, I'll stay on here a little bit. We'll see what else. We covered all that. I didn't know that it would take that long, but it's good stuff. How do we make less illegals? How do we make people behave? That's a whole nightmare. I'm not going to do that tonight. And then Elizabeth said, good night, off to finish my chores and a book edit to publish. Peace. Very good. And then there were two. Well, maybe we'll call that all the fun it needed to be. We got 3 hours in the previous stream, 2 hours in this one. That's 5 hours live streaming today. And we covered some important topics. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just call it a night. I've been in the chat. I'm trying to get all this other junk off my screen. Hang on. Let me see exactly what's happening here. Minimize. You. Up front. See, YouTube says 2 hours. OBS says 2 hours, 41 minutes. So almost 2.75 hours. And I didn't mean souse. I meant sauce. Saucier. Never get out of the boat. Never get out of the boat. 2 hours and 45 minutes in. We all have to call it a day. Thanks, everyone. Something. Dot. Soon. Dot. Heart, and I like them. So we'll leave that heart just hanging out for a few seconds. And we'll leave the chat up on the screen and click the stop